Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Sri Krishna's day flowed through the order of dhyana, dhamma, dana, dharma. In English, contemplation, conversation, contribution, concentration. We are all trying to love Sri Krishna more, and we are doing this in a fine way by living like he lived. We too are beginning our day with contemplation that is trying to establish that the source of joy in our life is our own nature. Puja Swami Tejomayananda, whom I learned Bhagavad Gita from, had shared, if you understand, if you're established in one section of Bhagavad Gita, that is enough to be free. Then he came down more. It doesn't even have to be a section, it could be a chapter. It doesn't have to be a chapter, it could be a verse. It doesn't have to be a verse, it could be a line. It doesn't have to be a line, it could be a word. To be established in one word of Bhagavad Gita, one can be free. So you're all thinking now, perfect, no more meaningful mornings for me. If you're established, then that is a fact. If you're not, more is offered. Because some of you may be thinking, we already completed Dhyana Yoga. How can there be a next? If one is not established, there is a next. And more and more and more is offered. With the last verse of chapter 6, that was the 280th verse of Bhagavad Gita, which means we've completed, at least intellectually, 40% of Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure in your observation that many teachers, many students reach until chapter 6 and then they don't continue because they feel Dhyana Yoga is set. We've completed almost 50%. There is much more. And we're fortunate to be able to experience this much more slowly. Chapter 7 begins with a broad teaching. If you want to be God, you can use whatever words you want for God. Right now, I'm going to use the word God. If you want to be God, this is only possible by knowing God. Being is the end, the means to know God. If you want to know God, you have to live in a godly way. We say god awful, correct? I'm not saying that. I'm saying live in a godly way so that we know God, so we can be God. And this is clearly stated by Shri Krishna using words like asakta, which means to love him, ashraya, which means to surrender to him. These sentiments, they're indicating Advaita. Advaita here means a singular purpose in one's life. That all you do, you're living in this godly way to know God, to be God. This singular purpose has other words like bhakti, devotion, and so on. If that is the purpose of your life right now, amazing. You will be with God soon. If that is not the purpose of your life right now, I promise you, eventually it will be. We are all on this trajectory. I was interacting with a seeker recently, and she and I were talking about how those who have grown up in large families, lots of siblings, what happens is that in such large families, there's a conditioning that the only purpose of one's life is family. I feel the opposite is true too. Those who grew up in very small families, they also feel that the only purpose of life is family. It's not. When Vivek dies, my family is not coming with me. What is coming with me is my relationship with self-development, my relationship with the divine self. And so Shri Krishna shares, listen. Listen to what I am offering to you. If you follow what I am sharing, then you will be me. These first verses in chapter 7, they are very inspiring verses, especially tomorrow's. Now don't jump to that. Let's focus on number 2 right now. This verse is actually the name of the whole chapter. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyam yasheshataha yajñatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Te, to you. Aham, Shri Krishna. To you, by me, there is an offering. What is going to be offered? Jnana and Vijnana. In very translation-oriented words, knowledge and wisdom. The implication of this, please listen carefully to this, because it sets the pace for this chapter, this section. Knowledge is indirect. Wisdom is direct. Shared differently. Knowledge, Brahman asti. Keyword asti. God, infinity, is. Wisdom, Brahman asmi. Asmi is the key word. God, infinity. It is not just is I. Did you feel that difference? And in the most practical sense, knowledge is knowing, wisdom is being. Now think of the word knowing. Knowing what is inherent in this. Imagine there's brackets and the word of, O-F, in there. What is knowledge? I know of happiness. And that is so different than being happiness, correct? We all know of exercise, but being exercise is so different, yes? So that is what the focus is of this chapter. Idam vakshami asheshataha. This subject, vakshami, I will speak on. I will teach. Asheshataha, without holding back. I will not be reserved in sharing with you because I want you to be me. That is so rare in the world that we want someone to be like us, but more so better than us. We always hold ourselves back. That way we are superior to another. A further implication of this, asheshataha means in detail. Only the divine can share such details. Think of a master artist like a Picasso. Only such a master can create such details, correct? An ordinary person like me cannot do that. And since we're aligned with bhakti, Sri Krishna is going to teach this because he only cares about us. If he didn't care about us, why would he be teaching us in detail? Don't you try harder with people you love. You keep giving them more. So feel how much he loves us. It's natural to reciprocate that. Third quarter, yat nyatva na iha bhuyaha anyat, which means having known, having experienced what I'm going to teach you, then you do not need to learn anything else. You do not need anything else. If you think of a secular subject, the purpose of a secular subject is clear. I go to medical school so I can do this and get this. I work for Alphabet because I do this and I get this. And that's why the masses, they are engaged in that which is secular. However, when we are engaged in that which is secular, though the engagement may be clear, the why is not. Why is that your profession? Why have you made this decision? That why is not clear, which is why we still feel incomplete in our professions, in our engagements. Am I speaking truthfully or am I generalizing this observation? It is the truth, especially because you're all muted. You can cancel what I'm saying right now. And since that field is unclear about the why, we definitely are not going to get an answer from these secular fields. Here, Sri Krishna is sharing What I'm going to teach you is going to shift you from the effect to the cause. The effect is always changing. There's not going to be clarity there. The cause is never changing. There will be clarity. Jnatavyam avashishyate. When you know this, avashishyate, what will remain is completeness. All that we feel in the secular, that will go away. What will remain is completeness. Shri Krishna's nature is existence, awareness, joy. Sat Chit Ananda. If I am being Shri Krishna, that means I'm being awareness. That means I am all-knowing, correct? To know how to drive, you need awareness. To know how to use Zoom, you need awareness. Awareness is the foundation upon which there is any knowing. How wonderfully Shri Krishna is sharing this. If you be me, you know all. Right now we're know-it-alls, but we do not know all. And zooming into this sense of being complete, you don't have to do anything anymore. Shri Krishna's nature is joy. If you are Shri Krishna, your nature is joy. No more desires, no more stress. We are all close. You may not feel it, but I am telling you from a scriptural perspective, we are all close. This will be emphasized in the next verse. From inspiration to application, you had to rate your growth in contemplation. Please share with me, what was your pre-rating and your post-rating? Before it was 0, now it's 1. Okay, I see a 4.6, very humble. I would definitely give you a higher rating than a 4.6. A 10.45, solid. A 20.50, a 0.40. Can you feel that this change has happened in 40 hours? What if you had the courage to invest 400 hours? 4,000 hours? You can be a contemplator. Your application for this morning. Why do you make knowledge indirect? Knowledge is actually factually direct, but we make it indirect. Why? Reflect on that. Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.